Tim Gossage with the latest report down there in the betting ring. There you see the scene at the mounting yard, and here are the totes for the Victoria Derby. Shogun Lodge opening up at $4.40 with only 81,000 in the pool, and that is going to be multiplied tenfold and more. Freemason $11.50, Diatribe $6.10, Blackfriars at $5. So Shogun Lodge still holds favouritism. 44 for Troubadour, $11.80 Chief Scout, $50 for Royal Integrity, 8 even Liberty Hall, $7.20 for Cloth of Gold. Few chances on the opening page, and on the next page, well, they're all outsiders, but the best of those looks to be number 12, and that is Campomanes at $32.30. That's the Amy Victoria Derby coming up in a little over 3 hours from now. Candidates heading towards the barrier stalls for the first event on the first day of the carnival, the William Inglis Carbine Club Stakes. We'll take a break and be back to watch them arrive at the gates in just a moment. First of 37 races coming up at Flemington on Amy Victoria Derby Day. Candidates are at the gates, and there's already a big crowd enjoying the refreshments and casting their eyes over to the Maribyrnong River side of the track as they go by the trees and head behind the gates for the William Inglis Carbine Club Stakes, a Group 3 event over 1,600 metres. Here are the dividends and the moves. Over has drifted out to $13.50, so it has blown out $6.80. Dangerous has been easy out to $13.20. Let's Compromise has also been easy out to $34. That's Letsy's tip in the first. Oval Office has been well supported in $1.30 to $5.30. Remember, these are for a $1 investment. Tarumba's tightened up to $3. Akhenaten's also tightened up, but is still at big odds. Whistler's been a drifter. Trousers has been a little easy in the betting at big odds. Chattanooga in to $5.70. Then we go over the page and see if there's been any moves for these. Well, DeCash has tightened up $5 into $23.50. And Poking Around has also come in $7.50 from its opening figure and is now $16.70. And there's been a bit of money for the bottom one, Kojak, which Jen gives a bit of an each-way chance to. And look at it there at $52. It's tightened up $40. As we can see, they'll start on the far side of the track, over by the Maribyrnong River at the 1,600. It's only a short run to the first turn. Reasonably big field here, a field of 16. So the inside gates probably a particular advantage. The middle gates aren't too bad either, because sometimes the inside can get shut up. And if you're out in a wide gate, well, you're going to be wide for a fair way. So that's the map of the track for the first, the William Inglis Carbine Club Stakes. And recapping the selections from the panel: Tarumba from Jenny, Oval Office from Rich, Let's Compromise from Letsy at the $34 mark, Chattanooga from myself, Over from Dan Malicki, and Oval Office from Gary Willits. And the familiar Hawks colours there aboard Over number 1. Larry Cassidy takes the ride. It's got gate number 17 here, Jen. We just spoke about the importance of barriers at the 1,600. That's not going to do it too much good. No, I don't think it will, Peter. And also the 58 kilos there as well. This horse probably should have won at Randwick 2 starts ago. Just gave a little bit too much start on that occasion, and sat outside the lead at Caulfield. Held his ground quite well there. He's probably a place chance. The other one of the Hawks runners is number 2, and that is Dangerous. Darren Gauci takes the ride. It comes out of gate number 13, so it's going to be wide for a fair way. And there you can see the second set of colours, and that is Dangerous, which is in the black with the cerise cap. Yes, I thought Dangerous drops back to the 1,600 metres here. A little bit disappointing at his last start over at Moonee Valley. 57 kilos, that's my concern with him as well. I can tell you, Tim Gossage has informed us from the betting ring, there's a lot of money going on Tarumba, number 5. It is going to be certainly one of the hardest to beat as they fill the gates. Let's Compromise. He's got it at $34. Do you give it a chance? I thought he had a place chance in the race without a real winning chance. Oval Office is an interesting one though, Peter. Big run on the Guineas, wasn't he? He did put in a great performance there, and he's had a bit of a skin disease. He was on a Derby mission originally, so he's there with some chance. Tarumba, the money's come forward, as we said, and rightly so. He's a talented galloper. Yes, he's very promising. Chattanooga, there it is in gate number 2 there with Danny Nikolic aboard in the blue and white colours. DeCash Poking Around perhaps the other chances. Let's head high up to the commentary box now. Dan Malicki and Gary Willits casting an eye over the field in the first race. Yes, Peter, good morning everyone. Look, the great thing about today, I think the rain has gone past and the sky's definitely lightened up. But gee, looking at the horses going down, I like the look of Oval Office, number 4 down, and Tarumba. I thought, no, the 4 and 5 look very good. They have contrasting styles, Gary.
because one likes to sit up on the pace, Tarumba. He led all the way at Caulfield, and the other, Oval Office, will get a long way back. He's running the Guineas. The Caulfield Guineas was outstanding.
Yes, and I think he must have had a little bit of a mishap, because I actually thought he most probably would have been in the Derby, but he might have just missed a little bit of work or something. Because the way he races, I thought the Derby had most probably suited him.
No doubt. I think most people had thought that the Derby would have been his race, the way he gets back and finishes on.
Well, I wonder if we'll see a Saintly come out of this race. We've seen some very good horses come out of the Carbine Club Stakes.
Some very good winners. It's been the nursery to some champions in the past.
Yes, and now remember at home that pentrometer is 3.86, and that's, to me, the track is absolutely perfect.
Now, Jabali going in, Damien Oliver aboard. Kojak, second from the outside, and over the top weight has the task from the outside gate. 16 running. William Inglis Carbine Club Stakes, Group 3, $150,000. First race, the 1999 Carnival at Flemington, and they're all set to go. Gates crashed back and they're away in racing. Akhenaten was one of the first to appear today from poking around. Tarumba going forward with DeCash. Also handy to those was Dangerous, and Let's Compromise was up there in the early part, and Renoic as well. Just in behind them was Whistler, one off the fence from Soviet Draw. Overs off the track, 4 and 5 deep. Beyond midfield, Trousers, and then Oval Office, a length and a half to Southern Crown, 2 lengths to Jabali, and Kojak settling down at the tail end of the field. As they run past the 1200, and DeCash clears out the lead by a length and a half. Dangerous now working its way up in a second spot. Tarumba gets to third. Over on the inside was Akhenaten in a nice place, and 3 wide Renoic. Let's Compromises 4 deep, a length and a half away. Chattanooga in the dark blue colours, poking around on the rails, and Overs off the track, and then came Whistler. Trousers on the rails. Oval Office is about 8 lengths off the lead. Next is Soviet Draw, then Southern Crown, 2 lengths to Jabali, and last of all is Kojak as they round the turn with 600 left to go. DeCash is about to work into the straight in front of Dangerous. Right behind them was Akhenaten, now leaving the rails. Tarumba was next, poking around, getting a good run through. Further out on the track was Let's Compromise, and they were followed by Renoic. Trousers and Jabali making ground on the rails. DeCash the leader down to the 300 metres from Akhenaten, poking around, hasn't gone past a runner. It's getting up on the fence, and further out now is Over, then Jabali and Trousers. Over pounces on the lead, it's been wide all the way. Took over from Trousers, Whistler running on late. Over's in front with 100 to go. He's got clear, he's got it won. From Trousers poking around, and Whistler, and Over scores a big effort. Over the winner, second Trousers, third poking around. Whistler not far away. Then came Southern Ground, who made ground from Jabali. Chattanooga next in, and then came Akhenaten from Kojak, and Oval Office didn't finish it off. DeCash weakened, Tarumba tired. Then Soviet Draw. Dangerous dropped out from Let's Compromise, and Renoic at the tail of the field.
Gee, that was a very big win, Danny, because it's very hard. The horse started from 16 barrier. Would never have got closer than 4 off the fence any part of the race, I don't think, and he did a very good job to work away with his 58 kilos, and I've run a very good time, 1:35, so that just shows you that track is just about perfect.
Only 1 second off the track record, which is held jointly by Jolly Old Mac and that great horse Vo Rogue.
Yes, well, gee, Vo Rogue, we know how fast he could run along, so just shows you how good the track will come up. And as I said, with the sky lightening up all the time, if we get a bit of sun break through, by gee, it'll be good track. Well, here they are with about 200 metres to run, and you can see in the cerise colours and the blinkers out there, that's Over. He's even out of the picture here, but he'll come back into it. He's done a great job to carry his 58 kilos. There he is, the cerise colours, trained by Johnny Hawkes, raced by the Inghams. He's done a very good job. Very hard to win with that weight and from that draw.
A couple of unlucky runners. Chattanooga was one of them. Jabali seemed to get held up momentarily into the straight, but he had a good run through. But certainly Chattanooga was the unlucky runner. It had difficulty obtaining a run from about the 400 to the 100 metres. He's got the dark blue cap just behind the speed at this point. But Over, all honest to the winner, Gary, he was wide, carried 58 kilos and won it convincingly. Official numbers are 1:8:13.
Yes, and remember that time we said we thought the track was perfect. I've never seen a track on the first day of a meeting with the grass being cut as short as what it is. And that's why they're going to run good times today. And as I said, if that sun happens to break through the clouds, look out. They'll be running records later on in the day.
Fourth in was number 7, Whistler, and fifth in number 6, Akhenaten, who ran a bold race, went up to take the lead around the home turn. Tarumba a bit disappointing, but couldn't lead today, but that didn't matter for Over. He probably would have had to do it tougher than any other horse in the run. He's now had 10 starts for 6 wins. He's only missed the place once. It's a very good record, and he's showing that he may well go on as another winner of the Carbine Clubs to bigger and better things.
Yes, they certainly seem to produce some good horses out of this race, Dan. As I said before the race, like Saintly, well, you wouldn't have got a better horse than him anywhere. Here they are coming back to scale now.
And Larry Cassidy, I'm sure that's a relief for Larry, because he gets a bit of stick from the punters down here in Melbourne, and the fact that he hasn't ridden all that many winners. So I'm sure he'd be absolutely delighted, and must do so much for a jockey's confidence to be able to ride a winner on the first day of the carnival, if not the first race.
Definitely, Dan, but I think Larry Cassidy, all he has to remember is his ride on Arena last year in the Derby. Oh, I haven't seen a better ride anywhere than that. That was just a great ride.
It certainly was. So it's 1-8-13 on the first race. Over, number 1, the winner. 8, Trousers second. Matthew Gatt, I think one of the most underrated jockeys around, and he had it perfectly positioned. He gave it a lovely ride. And third in was number 13, Poking Around, Shane Dye. Speaking of poking around, he just stuck to the fence and never went around a runner.
Yes, you called it. As they straightened up, he got a beautiful run up, and I thought he was going to win. But as I said, the Over was sitting out there 4 wide. And normally you'd think a horse would weaken over covering so much ground, but he just kept grinding away, and it was a very big win.
And Whistler finished up running 4th, and Akhenaten was 5th. Akhenaten still a maiden, would you believe, from 14 starts, yet he's been placed at Group 2 level. And the winner Over today's race is a Group 3. His prize money now close to $300,000 in prize money, and he might well be one of the weight for age type of horses next year, because by the looks of things, he's going to be out of the equation in the handicap races. He carried 58 today, and on the score of that win, he probably wouldn't be able to run into another handicap again. Winning jockey is Larry Cassidy. He won the Derby last year. I'm sure it's one of his favourite days, and he's about to talk with Mark Aston. Over's trained by John Hawkes.
Yes, Larry Cassidy just being interviewed at the moment, but an extraordinary win, because Over was 3 and 4 wide as was described by Dan Malecki. Here comes Larry Cassidy now. Great start for him for the carnival. He's just getting up on the scales now. We're hoping it's going to be okay. 59 looks okay. Larry, how you going? Great start for the carnival for you.
Yeah, exactly the same start as last year. I won this race on Colin Alderson's horse, who I see Colin Alderson's run second to me in this race this year.
Extraordinary ride, 4 and 5 wide, but just too good for them.
Yeah, well, I did draw the outside. I got across 3 deep, but they had nice cover, and then just to come out to get him into the open in the straight, and with the big weight, 58 kilos, I just sort of took my time before I got to him, before I asked him to go.
Always confident?
Yeah, I was coming to the turn, especially when I got across, and I was 3 deep with cover, 600 to go. I knew I was going to be right in the finish.
Good on you, Larry. Great start to the carnival.
Fantastic start.
Good on you, mate. Larry Cassidy there, Pete.
Thank you to Mark Aston. Well done to Larry Cassidy. And yes, Larry Cassidy on the first day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival in the All Cerise colours, and that's 2 years in a row. We saw him come back in those colours on Arena last year, and he comes back on Over here, a winner, striding to the line. Great performance. Barrier 17, 58 kilos. Numbers in the first are 1, 8 and 13. We'll be back with the correct weight signal and the official dividends on the William Inglis Carbine Club Stakes. Performance it was by that fellow Over, coming from the wide gate and carrying the big weight of 58 kilos to victory in the first event here at Flemington on Amy Victoria Derby Day. Terrific performance, and there is the correct weight signal. Weight is right for the numbers 1, 8 and 13. Over the winner, Trousers second, Poking Around third, and with the correct weight signal, that means we can check out the Super Tab dividends on race 1 with Dan.
And there are some pretty big dividends on the first event, Pete. The winner, number 1 Over, $11.10 and $3.60. 8 Trousers, $13.50. 13 Poking Around, $4.40. The Quinella paid $387.20, and the Trifecta, $7,702.50. give you some great play money for the rest of the day. You started off with 1-8-13 on race number 1, and all clear is there on the first event.
Yes, and the Omen punters, Dan, might have come up with something of a trifecta there with Over defeating Trousers and poking around in the first. Tim Gossage in the betting ring, what have you got to tell us?
Very funny feat for this time of day. Over, well, it was well backed. There's no doubt about that. It was in about 3 points, so hopefully people followed the tip from the bookmakers ring. They lost money, though, on Tarumba Late. He was easily the best back runner just before they jumped. In race 2, the Shivers Regal, there's only really one they want. It is odds on the top weight. It is in the red. That's Favalon. But there is a surprise down the bottom. Double Trio, number 9, 18-1 on the tote. Half that in the ring, Pete.
Tim Gossage in the betting ring, and Favalon all the rage here, and we've already discussed this race. Have you changed your mind in the last hour?
No, it's a little difficult to change your mind with this particular horse, Peter. He is really, really fantastic. I think the challenges may come from Prize Fighter, back to the 1,200 metres. I think that will suit for sure. And Fabiano's son, he's developed this problem of missing the start, so if he gets away on time, he's got a terrific chance.
Yeah, if he stops coming out on his head, Fabiano's son, he's probably got some sort of hope, Rich.
It does help to get away with the rest of the field in a sprint race, but I like Favalon. And I was just looking at his breeding. His sire, his father, Alanon, did like the straight track, so if he's anything like his father, it shouldn't worry him.
Let's see.
I like the toppy, Pete. I think he win Favalon, but Fabiano's son, just have a bit of respect for him because he likes this track.
And I think Daniel Bagor actually is the son of Doug Bagor, who was associated with a very good horse with whom our American viewers would be well acquainted, and that is Strawberry Road, who was a wonderful horse here and then went on to great success in the United States. But I'll tell you what, if you like Favalon, you're not going to get much of a return, so this could be a good race for Quinellas and trifectas and maybe running doubles, because it's $1.40 and $1. Fabiano's son is $6.10 and $1.40. Alpine Express, $26 and $4.70. Cullen, $12.20 and $2 even. Prize Fighter, $10.30 and $1.80. These are Super Tab dividends for $1. Gotham Ruler, $30.40 and $3.90. Zaytan, $54 and $9.50. And Double Trio, $18.30 and $3.20. Almost $186,000 in the win pool. Harley is the scratching, number 6, a field of 8 running in race 2, and that is the Shivers Regal. Well, it's time now for the presentation after the running of the first, so let's head down to the mounting yard to the Managing Director of William Inglis & Sons, Mr. Reg Inglis.
Thank you, Max. Chairman, committee, ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to be part of what is, without a doubt, the greatest day's racing in Australia. We're delighted to be sponsors here of this 3-year-old race. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Jack Ingham and his brother Bob for winning the race. As you know, they're fantastic sportsmen. They put a lot of time and effort into racing, and I don't know what the Australian turf would be like without their support. Anyway, without any further ado, I'd like Mr. Ingham to come forward and accept the trophy.
And there is Over striding to the line after that terrific performance. Akhenaten on the inside of it. And there were a couple of hard luck stories in the first. Chattanooga, as Dan pointed out, certainly was held up for a run. Tarumba actually dropped out after Chattanooga got up on its heels, Jan. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if Tarumba might have copped a little bit of an injury there when that horse galloped on it.
Oh, possibly, because he did pull up fairly quickly there. But a good win with a big weight and a wide barrier.
Could be a pretty good carnival for John Hawkes, Johnny Letts.
Yes, he's got some nice horses down here, Pete, but this horse, gee, impressed me. Look, he's only had 10 starts for 6 wins. Why we didn't pick him, I don't know. I really don't know, because...
Well, they did go hard early.
Well, they did go hard, Jen, yeah. But, I mean, he drew the bad gate, he had the big the wide barrier. Gee, he's very impressive, this horse.
Tarumba went harder than most, too, so that might have been another reason why he compounded in the last bit, Max.
Max, yes, who's Max?
Sorry about that, Chief. I think I'll let you go. Jen, why don't we take our accustomed walk to the mounting yard? I love doing this, seeing the crowds for the first time out of the studio. Rich, where are you going?
I think I'll head down and help my brothers saddle up a few runners for the day.
And Johnny Letts, you're going to hop on Banjo, and you'll be there for the 3rd race, the Saab Qualifier.
For the 3rd, I'll go meet my old mate.
Well, there you go. We're off to a flying start. Hope you can stay with us, everyone, right through until 5 o'clock Eastern time for the greatest day of racing on the Australian turf calendar. Race 2 is about 23 minutes away. Let's head to the Channel 10 marquee, where there's going to be plenty of happening. And to take us through the next couple of hours, here she is, the delightful Sandra Sully. Sandy, all yours.
Hi, Peter. Yes, and we're off to a flying start too, I might add, here in the marquee. Lots of celebrities dropping by. I would like to give a big cheerio and, of course, an enormous welcome to our large international audience, all of our new friends in America. Hi, thanks for joining us. We hope you're enjoying our coverage as much as we are bringing it to you. We have 4 fabulous days of racing ahead, but of course this is the curtain raiser to the big one, the Foster's Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, but this is Derby Day, and let's not rush through the program too quickly, so stick around. We have plenty for you in store to enjoy. In the next half hour or so, we're hoping to catch up with the Chief Executive of AAMI, the major sponsor for today's Derby, Mr. Brian Keane. AAMI have been the sponsor of the Derby for some years now, so we're looking forward to catching up with him. Also in the marquee, designer Katie Davenport. She's also good mates with jockey Damien Oliver, so we're looking forward to finding out just what designs are available this year, and also she's going to give us the inside mail, as it were, on exactly what Damien gets up to on a big day like today in the Derby. We're also going to be catching up with the trainer, soon to retire trainer, John Sadler. So we have so much more for you in store in today's coverage. Stick around. This is the 1999 Melbourne Cup Carnival. We'll be back with more after the break. Fantastic Flemington, just 6 kilometres outside of the CBD of Melbourne. Not too far for anyone. There are no excuses to make it here. Of course, our international viewers might have a reasonable excuse, but most of Victoria doesn't, and we're looking forward to them joining us today and for the next 4 days. Well, one woman who will have plenty of people joining her on the members' lawn is our own Lynn Talbot. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning, Sandra. I tell you what, the atmosphere here is fantastic, and there's still, what, around 3.5 hours to go before the running of the AAMI Victoria Derby today. Now, it first ran in 1855, and throughout its history, there have been a number of corporate sponsors associated with this great race for 3-year-olds. And I have one of the sponsors of today's race, or the major naming rights sponsor, I should say, CEO Brian Keane from AAMI. Now, no doubt you've got a chubby check on you somewhere too to present to the winner later.
VRC's chubby check.
Amazing prize money.
It is. It's $1 million, and the winner gets $650,000.
They will be very happy when you present that later today. Now, tell me, what is the attraction for you, AAMI, for a race like this?
Well, if you look around, Lynn, you'll see it's full of people who are our customers, our market, and it's full of motor cars, and that's the business we're in. And you know, over the years, it's a race that really is full of history and tradition and quality, and they're all the things that AAMI is associated with, and we've been delighted to be associated with the VRC for the last 8 years in the Derby.
And what are the future plans with AAMI and horse racing?
I'm not sure there's a particular plan afoot. I think this event, we've worked very hard with the VRC to make it into the big event that it is today, and it's not just a racing event. I think it's well, you'd be un-Australian if you weren't involved in the Melbourne Cup Carnival in some way, and we'd like to work continually with the VRC to make it a bigger and bigger event for all of the community.
Absolutely. And Brian, being naming rights sponsor, what does that involve?
Well, as I said, it involves not just today's, but quite a bit of work leading up to today, making sure that all the elements that we're associated with work well, and that there's no hiccups, or as few hiccups as possible. And when you wake up in the morning and see the clouds like this, you worry a little bit, but it's all turning out fine.
But you have the joy of presenting the Derby Cup, the trophy, later today.
Yes, yes. After the race, we'll present the trophy for the AAMI Victoria Derby.
Fantastic. Any tips on who you might be presenting that to?
Lynn, I don't have that many friends that I can afford to lose any. So I think stick to the favourite.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Back to you, Sandra.
Thanks, Lynn. We have a special guest joining us here in the 10 Marquee, and it's Frederica Balestro, who's representing her father, Renato Balestro, a famous Italian couturier designer who's out here for the first time in Australia, showcasing his wonderful designs. Now, unfortunately, Frederica, your father was a little too unwell to make the trip, but we're so glad that you could make it. How have you found it, your first time to Australia ever?
I like a lot to be here, and I have to thank the Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I enjoy a lot this place. I find fantastic all these colors, these flowers, these dresses and combinations of colors and accessories.
Well, of course, in Italy and in Europe, Balestro is up there with the likes of Armani and Versace. It's wonderful to have you here in Australia showcasing your designs. But this is our sort of fashion week, as it were, and it's really nice to kind of get your impressions. What have you seen so far, and what do you like about the way Australian women dress?
I like a lot the colors. In fact, our collection we will present tomorrow evening in Palladium Crown Towers is completely implanted to colors. We have a lot of colors from red to green to ruby and light blue, and here I can find the same kind of things.
Well, I know tomorrow night is a big night at the Crown Casino for your collection. Yes. 120 items, 30 ranges, which is an enormous amount of work. You have a great degree of input, I know, with your father, but you have some work to do before tomorrow night, and that is to be a judge in Fashions on the Field. What are you looking forward to there this afternoon?
I like a lot to be here, and I think I will judge the most elegant woman in racing course. And I think it's very important to see the good coordination with hats and dress and shoes and bag with accessories.
Well, we're looking forward to finding out your choices this afternoon and who you think is the best dressed today. We're thrilled that you could make it to Australia. Good luck with the collection tomorrow night. We hope it goes well. It's the first time to this country, and we're very proud to have you here and honoured. We're particularly thrilled. Thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the AAMI Derby and the rest of the Cup Carnival, and it's wonderful to have you. Give our regards to your father. We hope he's feeling a little well and he might get a chance to see the telecast. Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, thank you all, and I surely will enjoy a lot.
All right, well, just stay with us for a few minutes, Frederica. We do want to mention to all of our international viewers, we have an email address as part of our coverage. It's called The Cup. That's simple, at network10.com.au. In particular, for our international viewers, how about, dropping us a line? There might be some questions you have, some nuances of the Australasian racing scene you're not quite sure about, and we can answer those questions and get back to you, perhaps today as part of the telecast. So drop us a line. Now it's time to catch up with our roving reporter, the madcap man himself, Mr. Tim Bailey. Hi, Tim.
Welcome back to the cheeky Bailey cam, and let's have a look there. That, my friends, is the Derby favourite, Shogun Lodge, and a fair bit of personality there too. Haven't you, Shoei? Hey? No, I'm not Shane. I'm not Shane. He'll get on a bit later. But looking after Shogun Lodge, and it's an important job. Peter Troff, that's him coming towards the camera now. You've worked with some great horses. Yes. Drop some names for us.
I suppose Kiwi was the most important horse ever looked after. He won his first ever trip to Melbourne, he won the Melbourne Cup, and then since those days, Strawberry Road, Dane Wynn, the current horse favourite for the Melbourne Cup, Tie the Knot, we're looking after him. So we've had looked after most of the best horses that race in the last 20 years or so.
What's the hardest part about the job? Obviously, you've got a great rapport with this horse. It's great personality, Shogun Lodge.
He's a tremendous horse. But with the work we do, I suppose the arduous thing is, like you've got long hours of being awake and on your own and just being vigilant the whole time to make sure that, everything's sort of A-OK with the horse.
Thank you very much, Pete, for talking to us, taking time out, and you get some sleep tomorrow after looking after this fella. Straight from the horse's mouth, Shogun Lodge for the Derby.
Thanks, Tim. Now let's take a look as we head towards the break at some glorious fashions here from Derby Day. This is the day of elegance, the traditional day for women to turn out in their finest, usually black and white, but, just something they've possibly been working on for the last few months, and they're turning out in their best. The best race, of course, on the card today, race 6, the AAMI Victoria Derby. Let's count down to the big one. It's at 2:45 this afternoon, just a few hours to go. Stick around, we have plenty more to come here on Network 10's live and exclusive coverage of the 1999 Melbourne Cup Carnival.
Seven.
Very, very minor. As you can see, it's not stopping the crowds flocking to the famous Flemington Racecourse, Australia's only international racecourse, really. Car parks are filling up, picnic baskets are full, and the champagne is flowing. What's